want you to be poor. A message from GrimFace. You spent over 2,500 days in school, day after day, walking the hallways of a system that promised you a future. But let me ask you this. After all those days, how much time did they spend teaching you how to truly succeed? They trained you to follow, to obey, but did they ever teach you the rules of the real game? The one we're all playing, whether we realize it or not. You live in a world built on capital, but how many days did you learn about capital itself? How many lessons were dedicated to understanding how wealth is created, controlled, and multiplied? The answer is obvious, isn't it? They kept you blind, trained you to be a cog in the machine, while the ones who hold the real power made sure you'd never learn how to break free. I'm here to pull back the curtain. I'm part of GrimFace, a group of high achievers who figured out the truth and used it to rise above the masses. Today, I'm sharing with you the 7 principles that changed everything for me. These aren't just lessons. They're the keys to breaking out of mediocrity and into the realm of true power. These principles aren't taught in schools. They aren't handed out to the masses. But if you master them, you'll not only grow rich in money, but rich in control, in freedom, in life itself. The first principle, good debt. People fear debt, but that's because they don't understand it. Debt, when used properly, is a tool that can elevate you to new heights. Never take on debt with an interest rate higher than inflation. That's the rule. The smart move is using debt as a weapon. Good debt works for you. It grows while you sleep. It doesn't drag you down. It pulls you forward. But remember, this is a long game. Debt isn't paid off overnight. The true cost of debt reveals itself in the future. If you can see ahead, if you can understand where the money is going, then you can control it. This is the first step toward mastering the system. Next, central banks. The ones who control the money control the game. Central banks set the rules, interest rates, inflation, the flow of capital. But here's what most don't understand. Don't focus on the rates today. Focus on where they're going tomorrow. The trend matters, not the number. When rates drop, that's when you move. You can borrow cheaply and use that money to grow while others hesitate. The future is written in the past. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. If you can read the patterns, you'll know when to strike. Central banks may hold the power, but if you know the rules, you can play their game better than anyone else. Now let's talk about gold. Gold is solid, unshakable, eternal. When the world collapses, when economies crumble, gold remains. People chase stocks, currencies, trends, but gold has stood the test of time for centuries. When I invest in what I can touch, what I can hold. In times of chaos, gold holds its value. Governments fail, banks collapse, but gold is indestructible. You need something real, something tangible, to anchor your wealth. Gold isn't just a financial asset, it's the foundation of power. Then there's real estate. Everyone thinks real estate is about waiting for property values to rise. That's where they get it wrong. The true power of real estate lies in cash flow, not appreciation. If your rental income covers your expenses and leaves you with more, you've already won. Cash flow is king. Appreciation is a bonus, but it's not what you should rely on. And don't forget, your investment is someone else's home. You're giving them shelter. Play the game with decency, but never forget that you're in control. Master real estate, and you'll never need to rely on anyone but yourself. Compound interest. This is where the magic happens. Compound interest is the most powerful force in the financial world. The earlier you start, the more unstoppable it becomes. You don't need to make massive investments. You need to start. The money you put in today will grow, slowly at first. But over time, it becomes exponential. It's like a snowball rolling down a mountain. The rich don't get rich by making quick, impulsive moves. They plant seeds and wait for the forest to grow. Time is your greatest ally, and the longer you give compound interest to work, the more unstoppable you become. The tax game. Everyone dreads taxes, but that's because they don't know how to play the game. Taxes are inevitable, but paying more than you have to, that's optional. The system is designed to take from those who don't understand it. But if you learn the rules, you can use the system to your advantage. Real estate deductions, retirement accounts. These are tools you can use to minimize taxes legally. The best players don't avoid taxes, they minimize them. And they do it with a team. You cannot win this game alone. A great tax consultant is worth more than gold. They know the hidden rules, the loopholes, the strategies that keep your money in your pocket. Surround yourself with the right people, and you'll always stay ahead. Finally, offshore living. 183 days. That's the magic number. If you spend 183 days in a tax-friendly country, like Dubai or Panama, you can legally reduce or even eliminate your tax burden for the entire year. Think about that for a moment. An entire year of keeping everything you earn. But here's the catch. It requires sacrifice. You need to be willing to move, to adapt, to live like a nomad if necessary. But the reward? The reward is complete financial freedom. The system no longer controls you. Your wealth is untouchable. Are you willing to make that sacrifice? To change the game forever? These 7 principles, good debt, central banks, gold, real estate, compound interest, taxes, and offshore living, are not just concepts. They are weapons, forged in the fires of experience and mastery. I didn't learn these in school. I learned them by walking the dark path, the one few dare to tread. I applied them, and they've taken me to heights most people can only dream of. This isn't an easy path, but it's the only one that leads to real freedom. GrimFace believes in you. We're with those who have the courage to rise above the mediocrity, to break free from the chains of societal expectations. The question is, will you take action? Will you use these principles to build something real, something unbreakable? Or will you continue playing by the rules designed to keep you in place? The world doesn't hand out success. You have to take it. The choice is yours. But know this, waiting, hoping, wishing for things to change won't get you anywhere. The world is yours for the taking, but only if you're willing to play the game and play it to win. So step forward, claim your power. The future belongs to those bold enough to seize it. Are you ready? If you've made it this far, you already know that success isn't handed out. It's taken. It's earned by those who are willing to do what others aren't. The world you live in isn't fair. It's never been fair, and it never will be. But that's not an excuse to stay where you are. That's the reason to rise above. The truth is, the system is designed to keep you complacent, to keep you in line, to keep you blind. But now you know. You've seen behind the curtain. And once you've seen the truth, there's no going back. GrimFace didn't rise by following the path laid out for us. We forged our own. And that's exactly what you have to do. These 7 principles, if you use them, will unlock doors you never knew existed. But they won't open themselves. You've got to push. You've got to knock them down if necessary. You've got to be willing to do what others are too afraid to even attempt. Think about debt. Most people spend their lives drowning in it, crushed under its weight, because they don't understand how to use it. But now you do. You know that debt can be a tool, a weapon to be wielded strategically. If you use it right, it won't just free you, It'll fuel your rise. It's about seeing the bigger picture, about thinking years ahead, while others focus on their next paycheck. That's how you gain the upper hand. That's how you break free from the cycle that keeps so many trapped. Look at central banks. The masses live in fear of interest rates and inflation because they don't understand that these are just pieces on the board, tools that can be used to your advantage if you know how. You've got to play the long game, the smart game. Watch the trends, follow the movements of those who control the money, and position yourself to profit when they make their moves. While others panic, you'll already be in position, ready to strike. And gold. You've got to think about more than just numbers on a screen. You need something real, something that will hold its value no matter what. The world is chaotic, unstable, always shifting, but gold remains. It's solid. It's enduring. While economies rise and fall, while governments change and currencies collapse, gold is eternal. It's your anchor in a storm, your safety net when everything else crumbles.